we've got a printer, virtual, and we've got a drive map with a few shares and a few folders. We've turned on access-based enumeration, so only the certain groups and users should see their certain shares. They'll all see the common share, company data, but they won't see what else is left. Okay, so yeah, let's close all this out. We are sitting at 49 minutes already, so I'm going to definitely cut this video in half. Let's close this. 10 notifications. Sorry, it's a bad habit of mine. I always got to close those notifications. All right, so we are good. We've done DHCP. Let's do a little bit of cleanup in DNS. So one thing I like to do, set up forward reversal. Or keep it primary. Yeah, it's all going to be default because we're just like single DNS zone. So let's do it on our 10.10.10 network. Yep, finish. And then let's also do it on our 10.10.20 network, which are workstations. All right. So right now we don't have anything in here. We've got no computers joined to the domain. We're sitting on that other subnet, so it's not going to just manually pick things up until we get some computers joined. But yeah, another thing too, let's set aging scavenging. We're going to turn that on. Every 7 days, it's going to click through, and any old DNS records that are not there, it is going to delete them. Just some, YC machines that are no longer there, especially when you have a big company and you got people coming in with laptops, or maybe they are domain joined, maybe they only come to work once every 2 weeks. I mean, again, small environment, not a big deal, but when you're dealing with hundreds of machines, it can get overwhelming when you need to go in there for some reason and look at something or do something. Okay, so I think we're good now on this side of the fact. So let's head on over to here and let's start setting up some rules. So we are going to do access _2_AD. We're going to log the traffic as usual. We're going to put this up to the top. Access VLAN allowed to AD server. So this, we're going to do our source zone, which is going to be our access zone. We are going to put our whole access net in here, which is our 10.20 or 20.0 subnet range. Our destination zone is going to be management. Now here, we're going to get a little granular. So we're going to do an IP, and we're going to call this one the name of the machine, HQAD. And I always like to put the IP in plain sight. When you're looking at the rule, it makes it a lot easier. So there we go. Now, under services, this comes the fun. So we need a specific group of services. I'm going to post these ports in the blog post and video post on their site. Now comes the fun. So we got to add a bunch of ports in here. Let's start with what's already here. So we don't need DHCP. We do need DNS. And now DNS on here will give you UDP and TCP, so you don't need to worry about that because you do need both. We are definitely going to want Ldap, which is just 389. We're going to add Ldap secure, which is not in here automatically. We want NTP due to the fact that it is going to be our source of authority for time. Ping's nice to have, again, just for some for troubleshooting. Not something I'd probably leave in there. Do we need Samba? Yes, we do. We need Samba. It's for our net BIOS. Next on the list here, I need SMB, which isn't in here by default. Don't want all the UDP. I don't need WinFrame. We also need a dynamically arranged level of ports, which I will show you after. So let's apply those, and then let's add new. So let's start creating some services. What we'll do is we'll put this into a group after. So we need our Kerberos key distribution. So I'm going to name this one KKDC. And this is going to be TCP port 88. So you want your source to be any, but your destination needs to be 88. So we're going to add that one in there. We're going to add another new one. We're going to call this RPC. This is our remote procedure call. This is port 135. Yeah, okay, good. And we're going to save that. Then we're going to add in our next one, which is SMB. And of course, everyone should rely on it at 445. This is also for net login. So very important to have for even just logging into the domain controller across the network. Ldap, like, what did our Ldap come in as? So that's TCP 33 or 389, which is fine. Okay, so let's do Ldap S. Ldap S. Ldap S. So this we're going to add two. We're going to add in UDP and TCP on 636. And we'll just keep it all in one. You could do Ldap S UDP, Ldap S TCP, but we can just do them both. What happened here? That's weird. Okay, did it create it? Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Okay, Ldap S. Oh, you know what? It doesn't like. Let's try it again. 636. UDP 636. Save. It'll be added. It already exists. Okay, weird. But yeah, it's not showing there. And it is not showing in here. Interesting. Okay, well, let's save this. Then we'll come back to it. There it is. Some kind of glitch there. Don't get me wrong, that happens in the real world as well. Okay, so let's add our randomly allocated TCP ports. So random Windows TCP. So this is going to be 49, 152, all the way to 65, 535. And you just use a semicolon there to separate those, and it's TCP only. We don't have to worry about UDP side. So let's add those in. All right, what else are we missing? There's Kerberos v5, so that's another one we need. Kerberos v5. And actually, one thing, this actually is not needed. Port 464. We're going to add it just because it's recommended, but I could be wrong, but I swear you can still change your password without this. All right, we need a couple NetBIOS ports. So these I'm going to put into one. NetBIOS. There's name resolution and NR, and then we'll put DS for the datagram service. And these are both UDP. And that's 137 and 138. So we're going to save that. And it's going to break on us again. So let's save this so it'll lose our work. And then we'll come back and add that back in. So we want our NetRAM, which should be NetBIOS. Apply. Okay. We did our Ldap S, so the only thing left is global catalog. That is technically not required for a workstation. I'm going to add it anyways. That would be for if we want to replicate over VLANs or replicate our domain controller. So let's add that one in too. Oh, TCP. Why did I do that? Global catalog. Okay, so we've got all of our ports added. So we can go over this again. We've got DNS, which is our UDP 53, TCP 53, Ldap, which is 389. That's unsecure Ldap, NTP 123 for time, ping just for tests, ICMP 8, Samba 139, our Kerberos key distribution port, which is 88. Our remote procedure call 135, SMB 445, Ldap S, which is 636 on TCP and UDP. Our random TCP ports, which is 49152 all the way up to 65535. Kerberos v5, which is used for password changes. As I stated when I added it, I swear you don't need it. We're just going to add it anyways to be safe. We can always test that out and remove it and see if we can still change our passwords. Our net BIOS, 137 UDP, 138 UDP. That's for name resolution and the datagram service. And then our global catalog for replication over VLANs. So that should be that. From here, we should be able to connect from this access workstation and join the domain and do everything that's required. So our rule is in place. You can see there's already traffic flowing. So let's head on over to our workstation. All right, so we open File Explorer. We'll right click on this PC, go to Properties. And we're going to go to, what I'm going to do is actually open this and go to rename this PC Advanced. And we're going to go to Change. So let's give this thing a name. Let's just call it Workstation 1. And let's join it to domain. So it's ad.killsec.lab.com. Of course, this will be whatever domain you are in. It should already have the DNS info. Should prompt us for username and password. I hope. And okay, it failed. What is going on here? It's typed okay. Oops. I can ping it. Oh. Ping HQ-AD. Yeah, so what's going on? We've got a rule in place. Our access net, access zone to our management zone. We've got everything we need in here, I believe. Let's just double check all this. So we got DNS, we got Ldap, RPC, we've got our Samba 139, SMB, our RPC, our Ldap S, our random ports, our net BIOS, our global code. Yeah, everything should be here. So, what is the holdup here? Why is this not working? Let's try it again. DHCP.com. I should have prompted us a bit quicker than this. Huh. No domain controllers could be contacted. Users in DNS are not good to the network or are not running. Interesting. So there's definitely something weird going on, and it's funny because we can see traffic flowing. All right, well, this is what we have logs for. So let's move on over. Oh, where did my log viewer go? Move on over to our logs, and let's see what's being denied. Destination, so 389 UDP. Do we not have that in the rule? Aha, we do not. So let's edit our Ldap and let's add in UDP, which is weird because I don't believe Oh, that is in my list, and I forgot to add it. That is my bad. Okay, so again, thank God for logs. Is it gonna be a pain in our butt here? Let's refresh this. Let's go back to our rules. And let's go back to here, and let's edit our Ldap, and let's add. Oh, that's right. It will not allow us to edit this because that's a standard service. So let's just create a new one. Ldap underscore UDP. Yes, I forgot about that this needs to be there. There we go. Now, we'll have no problems joining the domain, as expected. And there we go. So we're going to put in our administrator of our domain controller, or any domain admin account that's set up. And there we are. We are joined to the domain. So let's restart this thing, and let's make sure our group policies pull. We'll sign in as a few different users. I can show you the different shares, how everyone's getting mapped. Just goes to show, make sure you triple check here what you're adding in there. I mean, again, lab environment, not the end of the world, even in production. Normally, you're not going to probably roll out a change like this during working hours, and you'll make sure everything's working as expected before you do. Okay, so let's log in as myself. Let's okay, so see, it's going to ask me to change the password. So let's see if I can use the same one again. I don't believe it's going to let me. No, because from server 2016 and up, there's on the default domain policy, all this stuff is set on its own. So let's just choose one that meets the complexity requirements. So there we go. So this should change and accept and log me in. We should see our printer. We should see our share drives. Everything should be hunky-dory. And I mean, really from there, where would we go next now? I don't know if I explained this cleanup rule, but I added this cleanup rule. Basically, what this does is any zone, any host, any zone, any host. So anything that's not matching in the rules above are going to hit this rule, and they're going to be dropped. Also very good to log if you're, again, having issues like we were. A port was missed that needed to be there. We were able to come into the log viewer here, and we were able to see that, hey, this computer couldn't talk to this over this port. We couldn't join the domain controller. That's why. So see, it's trying to talk to devices that it shouldn't be talking to, and it's all blocked, and it's perfect. That's what you want to see. You can see it talks to this server quite a bit for different things. So DNS and all different kinds of stuff. Logs are your friend when it comes to firewalls. All right, so we are in. So let's head on over to our file explorer. And look at that. We got our headquarters share, and we can only see what we're allowed to see. We are not seeing the sales share. We're not seeing. Did I create another share? No, I think I just created sales. Sales, company data, and IT. But yeah, we're seeing what we need. So let's double check our printers now. See if we got our shared printer. Okay, that we don't have. So why are we not getting a printer? I've had issues with printers before, and when you are not an admin of the computer, so let's test something here. Let's go computer management. So prove my case here. So I'm going to make myself a local admin of this computer. Not best practice. Not something I like to do. But let's add me to this as a local admin. We're going to have to sign out. Why is it not finding me? Oh, there it is. Okay. Just a little slow. Again, in production, you're not going to see these types of things. So for this to work, we've got to sign out. And then sign back in. Oh, and this, I have to change my password. So now let's see if we get that printer. I did a migration at one of our clients and noticed that exact same problem where if the user wasn't a member of the administrators group, they weren't getting the printer. Okay, but neither am I. So there is more to that. Let's see if we're going to get our printer. And again, printers over. It could also be a fact that I'm missing a port. Like, let's see, will the printer even show up if I do a scan? Let's see, printers can be a funny one. Let's open up our log viewer again here. Let's see. Everything's being blocked. Just trying to hit my local workstation, which we don't want. So no, I am not seeing anything being blocked here. And I know when I set this up in my home, there it is. So why isn't it? It's going to ask me to install a driver. Okay, so yeah, there's definitely something going on here. It wouldn't add the printer. So I don't know if I'm missing a port. See any denies here? Not that I can see, especially talking to the main controller. Again, we're trying to do this with a virtual printer, so it's kind of a bad example. But either way, it sees the shared printer. It's just not pushing the update. But we know our drive maps worked. We know everything else worked. We were able to join the domain. We were able to change our password. And yeah, so that's what we want to see. So let's sign out of here. Let's log in as another user. We'll log in as our, not sure what that is, but let's sign it out anyways. So let's log in as JChempo, our shop manager. Change his password as well. One thing I noticed too is our time was off. What's our time on our domain controller here? Aha. Our time is good on here, so why is our time off on our workstation? We're an hour ahead. Why is that? Just because of our time zone. But it is syncing with our domain controller. Okay, so JChempo should get the share drive, but he should only have access to company data, which is exactly what we want. And he, I do not believe, can create anything. Oh, he can. That's perfect. All right, so we are on a roll here. We are good to go. So as you can see, all our users can log in, all our users can change their passwords, we can access, we're getting our drive maps pushed, and I mean, everything is locked down to only what is required in this firewall rule. We're not opening up anything else that they shouldn't have access to, and yeah, everything is working as expected, other than, I mean, the virtual printer, but yeah, it's a virtual printer, so I've personally never tested that. I wanted to try that out and see if it would work in this lab, but it's not. If I can figure that out, I'll definitely show you the tricks of the trade there. But no, we are good to go. I'm happy with that. So let's do a little recap. We've gone ahead and we've installed Active Directory. We've set up a domain. We've added some users, some groups, some OUs. We have installed DHCP, set up our DHCP scopes with our options, and set that up as a relay in the firewall to pass our DHCP requests and responses over the VLANs. We've set up a printer, deployed a printer, we set up a couple simple GPOs and some shared drives, turned on access-based enumeration so the users can only see what they're required to see. Now if we come to data, we got our little hello made by Johnny Chimpo, and we can come in here. We can see some details about the document, that it was made by this user on this computer. We are good to go. So from here, I think what we're going to do in upcoming videos, one thing I'll show you too here is we can make a little group. So let's call this one internal rules. Rules for internal traffic only. So I'm not going to worry about matching criteria. Let's just move down into there. And then let's create one for external traffic. Let's move that in there. And then we can move this to our external traffic. And we can move this to our external traffic. These are all rules that are going out to the internet, so they're external only. So now we've got our external traffic, we've got our internal traffic. It just keeps things a little nicer. I mean, once you start building rules in here, you could, depending on the organization, you could have hundreds of rules. You may only have 10, but it just kind of keeps things nice. You got a little description of what it is. And then you can just drop it down and see what you got. So I think in the next upcoming video, what we'll do is we'll get this thing tied into our domain controller. We'll also go a little above and beyond. We'll set up an internal CA, a certificate authority, and get Ldap S working for this. Otherwise, any password passes is going to be passed in plain text over port 389 instead of port 636. So one way to get around that is either with an external certificate, but then it has to be on all of your devices, or you can build yourself an internal one and use that to just add your root CA to your Sophos, just tied into your AD for authentication purposes only, and it will pass the user's authentication that way. Once we get it tied into our VP, once we get it tied into our Active Directory, we can start coming in and creating user-based rules. Maybe we only want Johnny Chimpo to access certain sets of websites, or stuff like that. We'll also come down and get our maybe start granularizing this a bit. Like, I mean, access to WAN, well, they really should only be going out HTTP, HTTPS. That's all they should need. Like right now, we've got it open to any service. Again, this is a workplace environment. This isn't your home where your kids are playing Roblox and they need specific ports open. And even then, like it's as simple as finding out what those ports are and adding them. But yeah, till next time. I think I'm going to split this video into two, so there may be part 3, part 4. It's quite a big video. We'll see. Thanks. Bye-bye.